maka-catch up tayo. RA 5527, the first topic, and then the second topic would be the amendments. Okay? I will just stress out kung ano yung mga important details, okay, para hindi naman tayo sobrang humaba at magkasya pa din yung time natin to discuss two topics for today. Okay? So let's start with RA 5527. So take note that the RA 5527 is the law that governs the practice of medical technology in the Philippines. So ito yung batas kung saan ito yung nag-govern sa practice ng mga medtech or yung ating mga medical technologies or medical technology professionals in the Philippines. So what is the purpose of RA 5527? So take note of this. It is to give license to our professionals. So the primary purpose is to ensure that the professional services expected from medical technologies are to be rendered by competent and licensed individuals, meaning all of those who will practice medical technology in the Philippines should have their certificate of registration and their license. So kailangan lisensyado ka muna or meron kang certificate of registration in order to perform as a professional, particularly as a medical technologist under RA 5527. So take note that we are doing this to protect the health and the physical welfare of the public kasi baka magkaroon ng risk if yung mga magpa-practice ng profession would be the unlicensed individuals. Okay? So again, we should avoid causing risk because of the unlicensed practice. So take note that RA 5527 is a special penal law. Ibig sabihin nito, there are certain penalties for violations. So for example, you have done a violation under RA 5527, so you can be penalized with the violation. So either there is a revocation or suspension of your license aside from the fine or the imprisonment depending on the discretion of the court. So for the topic outline, so take note that there are 32 sections in RA 5527 and they are summarized or classified into three. So there are sections that pertain to the training. So when you say training, that is the clinical internship, okay, in the accredited training laboratory. So sa mga nag-aaral na nag-i-intern pa lang inside the hospitals. And then the practice pertains to the licensed individuals or yung mga registered medical technologists na talaga na nag-work inside the laboratory. And then the examination pertains to the licensure examination or the medical technologist board examination. Okay? So section 1 would be the title. So palagi sa mga batas, yung section 1 is the title. So take note that RA 5527 is entitled as Philippine Medical Technology Act of 1969, which primarily requires the registration of the medical technologists, defining their practice and okay. So for other purposes, nandito din sa RA 5527, lahat ng tungkol sa training ng mga medtech interns as well as the licensure examination. So it was approved on June 21, 1969 by former President Ferdinand E. Marcos. Section 2 would be the definition of terms. So dito dinedefine lang yung mga terms that are frequently used or encountered in the RA 5527 para mas lalong maintindihan. So again, when you say medical technology, it is a branch of the laboratory medicine which deals with the examination of different specimens. Either, for example, you receive urine specimen, blood, stool, and other body fluids. So we are subjecting them for laboratory analysis. So there are different sections in the laboratory of which I know you are already familiar with. Okay, so marami tayong mga techniques inside the lab. So we are doing this primarily to aid the physician in the diagnosis, study, and treatment of the diseases, and in the promotion of health in general. So katulong tayo ng mga physician in order to diagnose diseases. So for example, you got sick and then you consulted a physician or the doctor. So the first thing that the doctor will order would be the laboratory test in order to find out what is wrong with you. So the doctor might ask for your history or for the patient history. And in order to confirm yung mga suspected na diagnosis or presumptive diagnosis is that kailangan ng laboratory results as the basis for that. So ang gumagawa ng mga laboratory tests would be the registered medical technologists, okay, under the medical technology or in the practice of medical technology. So when you say pathologist, it is a duly registered physician specially trained in the methods of laboratory medicine. Meaning to say, yung doctor na ang specialization niya is on the laboratory medicine is our pathologist. Okay? So take note that the pathologist is the head of the laboratory. Meaning to say, every laboratory should have other pathologists because yung pathologist, siya yung magsa-supervise ng lahat ng medical technologists or medical laboratory technician or medical technician that would be working inside the lab. So yung pathologist then, yung nagsa-certify ng mga results that are generated by the medtech. So in cases na merong mga findings that are not usual, so yung pathologist natin yung nagko-confirm. No? Okay? So for the medical technologist, a person who engages in the work of medical technology under the supervision of a pathologist or licensed physician authorized by the DOH in places na walang pathologist. So for example, sa mga places na malalayo at wala talagang available na pathologist, the DOH can authorize any licensed physician, okay, to become a pathologist in the place of a pathologist kung walang pathologist dun sa lugar na yon. So take note that for medical technologists, you should be a graduate of BSMT or BSH of training and examination, and you pass the prescribed course for this program. So BSMT stands for Bachelor of Science in Medical Technology, also known as BSMLS, Medical Laboratory Science in our time. And BSH stands for Bachelor of Science in Hygiene. So ito yung BS Public Health sa time natin ngayon. Okay? So the BS Public Health graduates can also take the same licensure examination as ours. So pwede din silang manguha ng board exam for medical technologists. So medical technician, before, pwedeng maging medical technician or medical laboratory technician ang tawag ngayon. For the persons who assist our medical technologists and the pathologists in the works inside the laboratory. Okay? So before, in the time of 1969, kahit hindi ka graduate ng BSMT or BS Public Health, pwede kang mag-work as medical technician as long as you pass the corresponding civil service examination. But this is not applied anymore. Okay? Meron na tayong mga certain conditions wherein an individual can work as a medical technician or medical laboratory technician. So take note, class, that what we are discussing this morning is the original RA 5527, meaning ito yung pinakauna, the unamended or wala pang changes. Some of the things here are not applied anymore kasi meron na tayo mga amendments or changes. But then again, as we go through the course of our discussion, ibibigay ko naman yung information kung ano yung mga at present na pinapatupad natin. So we also have our accredited medical technology training laboratory and the medical or the recognized School of Medical Technology. So you should be accredited or recognized first before you can cater interns in the laboratory for their training. Sa mga school, before you can offer the program, is that kailangan mo muna din ng recognition. So, hindi tayo basta-basta pwedeng mag-offer ng medtech program without an authority coming from the CHED as of today. So at present, both of the training laboratory and the schools are accredited or recognized by CHED, okay, or the Commission on Higher Education. So before, in the time of 1969, yung mga laboratory, ang nag-a-approve dyan is yung the Department of Health, and yung sa schools naman, ang nag-a-approve would be the Department of Education. But at present, both of the laboratory and the recognized school for medical technology, they are accredited and recognized by CHED. Okay? So in RA 5527, you will encounter two groups of people. We have the Council of Medical Technology Education and the Board of Examiners for Medical Technology. So take note, class, that these are two different groups. Meron silang kanya-kanyang composition, and they have their own duties and responsibilities. Okay? So the composition of the council is stated in Section 3, and the composition of the board is stated in Section 7. Okay? So let's talk about the Council of Medical Technology. So it is also known as the Council of Medical Technology Education, which is composed of the following. So there are 9 people. So we have the chairman, the vice chairman, and 7 members. And among the 7 members, nandiyan yung Board of Medical Technology natin, which is composed of a chairman and the 2 members. Okay? So ayan lang yung composition ng Council of Medical Technology. So for their compensation, they are given 25 pesos per dime for every meeting actually attended that should not exceed 2 in a month. So ibig sabihin, hanggang 2 meeting lang yung meron silang compensation na 25 pesos per dime. So in the time of 1969, malaki na yung 25 pesos na yan. But if you are a government employee that is receiving a regular salary, hindi ka na pwedeng bigyan ng 25 pesos per dime. But all of them are entitled to have their allowance or yung traveling expenses nila in connection with their duties and responsibilities. So Section 5, ito naman yung mga functions and duties of the Council of Medical Technology Education. So nandoon na siya sa section title, Council of Medical Technology Education, meaning all of that is related to the education or sa schooling or sa pag-aaral ng BS Medtech. Okay? So they recommend the minimum required curriculum, what are the courses or the subjects that should be included in the Medtech program, determine and prescribe the number of students, account the student instructor ratio and the availability of the facilities, and then approve medical technology school meeting the requirements and recommend the closure of those found to be substandard. They require all medical technology schools to submit annual report, inspect and determine whether a high standard of education is maintained. And before, bago ka makapag-internship is that kailangan mo muna ng certification from the Council of Medical Technology. So, for the clinical internship, 5 pesos should be collected from each student, and it will be for the operating fund of the council. Formulate and recommend approval of refresher course for applicants who shall have failed the board examination for the 3rd time. So take note that in the licensure examination, we are initially given 3 chances in order to pass the exam. So hindi tayo binibigyan ng unlimited chances na take ka lang ng take, but rather, if you will fail on the 3rd attempt and you plan to push through on the 4th attempt, kailangan mo muna ng certificate of refresher course. Okay? So that will be discussed more or elaborated later. Okay? So madadaanan pa natin. And then promulgate and prescribe rules and regulations of foregoing functions. Okay? So again, lahat ng functions ng Council of Medical Technology, it is all about the education. Okay? Or the medtech program. So section 6 would be the minimum required courses. So ito yung mga courses that should be included in the medtech curriculum. So take note that the medical technology program shall be at least 4 years, including 12 months satisfactory internship in an accredited laboratory, and shall include the following subjects. So kung mapapansin ninyo class, most of which ayan din yung mga subject na tinitake ninyo for general education subjects as well as for our professional courses. Okay? So ayan yung mga courses or subjects na dapat kasama sa pag-aaral ng medtech. So kasama na din dito yung 12 months na satisfactory internship or yung 1-year internship ninyo. Okay? So before, during my time, our internship is only 6 months. Pero ngayon, sa bagong curriculum ng mga galing sa senior high school, is that binalik na ulit sa 12 months or 1 year yung internship natin. Okay? So section 7, the Board of Examiners of Medical Technology. So the Board of Examiners or the Board of Medical Technology is composed of 3 people. We have the pathologist as the chairman and 2 members who are registered medical technologists, and they are all appointed by the President of the Philippines, okay, in the office. So before, meron lang silang term of office kung ilang years sila pwedeng mag-serve. Pero ngayon is that they can be reappointed as long as no one qualifies to replace them in the office. So again, kung meron mang cases na any member of the Board of Medical Technology cannot fulfill their duties and responsibilities, ang pwede lang na magpalit sa kanila in place would be the one who appointed them, which is the President of the Philippines. So currently, buo na yung Board of Medical Technology natin, starting with the chairman or headed by the chairman, Dr. Marilyn A. Cabal-Barza, with 2 members that are registered medical technologists, Leila Lani M. Florento and Maria Lourdes L. Punton. So during our PASMET conventions, merong part yung PRC dyan or Professional Regulation Commission, and our Board of Medical Technology are under the PRC. Kaya there are times that we meet them during our annual conventions. Okay? So what are the qualifications for you to become an examiner? So first, you need to be a Filipino citizen with good moral character, a qualified pathologist or duly registered medical technologist with a degree BSMT and BSH, and you should have an extensive experience in the field, at least 10 years experience prior to your appointment. And ito yung isa sa pinaka-importante for us to avoid conflict of interest or bias. Hindi ka dapat affiliated with any medical technology schools or a member of the faculty of any schools that is offering medical technology. Okay? So section 9, the executive officer of the board. So before, in the time of 1969, wala pa tayong PRC. Okay? So the licensure examination are under the Civil Service Commission, and the commissioner of the Civil Service shall be the executive officer of the board and shall conduct the examinations given by it. So doon sa board natin or Board of Medical Technology, merong isa na mapipili as the secretary, and the secretary shall keep a register of all the persons to whom the certificates of registration have been granted. So ang tawag doon is the roster of medical technology. Okay? So sa roster natin is parang list lang siya, and nandoon yung mga details ng lahat ng binigyan ng COR. Okay? Or lahat ng professionals na merong certificate of registration and license. So more of that with our discussion. And then yung compensation naman nila, they will be given 10 pesos for each applicant examined and 5 pesos for each applicant granted a COR without examination. So, sino yung mga pwedeng mabigyan ng Certificate of Registration without examination? So, this is only applied before. Kasi class, bago pa magkaroon ng RA 5527, meron na tayong mga practicing medtechs. Okay? So, ang bibigyan na lang ng COR without undergoing the licensure examination would be the existing medtechs in the time of 1969. Okay? So, ngayon, hindi na yan applicable since lahat ng mabibigyan ng COR and ng license, kailangan mag-undergo muna ng licensure exam. So what are the functions and duties of the board? So they administer the provision of this act since they handle the professionals that practice medical technology in the Philippines. They administer the oath taking. So prior to the enter into the practice of medical technology, kailangan ka munang mag-oath taking kasi i-recite mo doon yung code of ethics for medical technologists. Okay? They can issue, suspend, and revoke the COR, maintain good ethics and standards in the practice of medical technology, investigation of violations, so they can issue subpoena or subpoena duces tecum. So when you say subpoena or subpoena duces tecum, it is a writ or a letter or a written notice ordering a person to attend court and to bring relevant documents. So kapag meron kang violation, for example, at ipapatawag ka na for investigation, bibigyan ka nila ng subpoena or subpoena duces tecum. And then draft such rules and regulations as may be necessary to carry out the provision of this act. Since class, yung responsibility ng Board of Medical Technologies is, or medical technology is malaki, at kailangan they should conduct themselves at all times. So there are certain reasons na pwede silang matanggal as members of the Board of Medical Technology. So if there is neglect of duty, incompetency, malpractice, or they are being unprofessional, unethical, or they have immoral or dishonorable conduct, so pwede silang ma-remove as a composition of the Board of Medical Technology. Okay? So if they have an appeal, pwede silang mag-appeal sa President of the Philippines. And the President shall have the power to suspend and to appoint a temporary member in the place. Okay? So as mentioned earlier in section 13, accreditation of the schools and the training laboratory. So ang nagbibigay ng accreditation ng school would be the Department of Education, and for the training laboratory, it is the Department of Health. But at present, it is the responsibility of the Commission on Higher Education. So in accrediting our training laboratories, kailangan kumpleto yung mga sections and the scope of the activity of the said laboratory offers sufficient training in the laboratory procedures. Baka kasi kumpleto nga yung sections in the laboratory pero konti naman yung flow ng patient. So hindi yun magiging enough for the training of our medtech interns. So kailangan yung scope ng laboratory na yun is extensive siya. Most of the accredited laboratories for training are tertiary category and they are hospital or institution-based clinical laboratories. Kaya madami ang mga patients talaga na pwedeng ma-encounter ng mga medtech interns natin. So section 14 is the inhibition against the practice of medical technology. So again, if you do not have the COR and the license, you cannot practice the profession. Okay? But the registration shall not require of the following. So the following can be recognized and work as medical technologists. Okay? Number one, if you are a duly registered physician or if you are a licensed doctor, you can work as a medical technologist. And then medical technologists from other countries or they are only consultants or visiting or exchange professors. as long as they would only work in the academe. So they are recognized as medtechs, but they are only working in the school or in the academe. And for those that are under the United States Armed Forces, so pwede silang gumawa ng mga laboratory tests as long as they only render services to the members of the said forces only. Meaning to say, very limited lang yung pwede nilang maging patients at yung mga members lang ng forces nila. So they cannot cater the common Filipino people sa mga laboratories natin, or they cannot work in outside laboratories or hospitals because they can only service the members of the armed forces. Okay? So class, can you follow? Nakakasunod po sa discussion natin. Nakakasunod pa naman. Alright. Okay? So let's talk about your licensure examination. So makinig kayong mabuti class kasi ito yung future ninyo. Para ngayon pa lang, you're being guided with your licensure examination, how it is conducted, how it is given, paano yung releasing ng results, and after, ano yung mangyayari. Okay? So this is the start of you being a professional if you already passed the licensure exam. So examination pertains to the licensure examination or board examination before you can get the COR and the license to practice the profession in the Philippines. So take note class that our examination is only a written examination, meaning to say pen and paper, okay, pencil and paper, you're going to shade the best answer on the given answer sheet, okay? So wala tayong practical examination. It is only pure written examination, multiple choice type of questions. So may choices ang licensure exam, okay? So it is given on the following locations in Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. We have Greater Manila area, Cebu, and Davao. So take note that depending on the number of the takers of the licensure examination, the PRC can add additional testing locations aside from the 3 that are given. Pero dapat sa tatlong area na yan, nandyan yung mga testing centers natin. The examination is given during the month of August or September. But at present, our licensure examination is given twice a year, every August and every March. So if you will be graduating on a regular batch, ang licensure examination is March. At kapag naman irregular batch ka, is that ang licensure examination would be the August. Okay? So written notices of such examination shall be published at least in 3 newspapers of national circulation, and it is published by the secretary of the board at least 30 days prior to the date of the exam. So if you registered for the licensure examination few days before the exam, magre-release yung PRC ng room assignment. Okay, so that is an example of a room assignment. So during my time, I had my licensure examination 10 years ago. Okay, so mag-11 years ago na. So September 13 to 14, 2014, and the location is in Greater Manila area, particularly in Quiapo, Manila, Manuel L. Quezon University. And then naka-indicate na din dyan yung room number. And as you can observe, the sitting arrangement, the arrangement ng mga takers, they are arranged alphabetically. So you cannot choose who you sit with. Okay? At halo-halo na lahat ng universities or iba-iba yung mga universities na makakasama mo in the room. So wala kang magiging seatmate dito because you're on your own dahil hindi mo kakilala yung mga kasama mo sa room. Okay? Because you are arranged alphabetically depending on the registrants of that particular licensure examination. Okay? So, qualification of examination. So, the applicant for examination should be in good health and is of good moral character, has completed a course of at least 4 years leading to the degrees BSMT or BSH. And before, kahit hindi ka graduate ng medtech, you can take the licensure examination. So, persons having graduated from other paramedical professions who are performing medical technology for the last 5 years, but they should have a 1-year internship. Okay? So, if happen, for example, you're a graduate of midwifery, pero yung naging work mo is inside the laboratory as a medical technologist or you perform as a medical technologist for the last 5 years. So you can take the licensure examination basta meron ka ring 1 year na undergraduate internship or practical training. Okay? But today, it is not applied anymore. So lahat lang na mangunguha ng licensure examination for medtechs, they should be a graduate of BSMT or BS Public Health. So, Section 17 is the scope of the examination. Ano lang ba yung mga subjects that are included in the licensure exam? So, we have the following. So, take note that the licensure examination is conducted 2 days. Dalawa, yung hatian ng mga subjects na yan. So, 3 subjects per day. So, on the first day, you will take clinical chemistry, microbiology and parasitology, and clinical microscopy or analysis of urine and body fluid. So, yung tatlong yon, yung mga subjects ng first day. And then, yung subject naman ng second day would be hematology, blood banking, and serology, plus histopathologic techniques, cytotechnology, medical technology laws, related laws, and its implementing rules, and the code of ethics. So take note that yung subject natin, medtech laws and bioethics, whether you like it or not, it is included in the licensure examination. Okay? So all of which 100%, ayan na yung buong licensure examination courses or subjects natin. So, how are you going to compute for the general average? So, madali lang siya. Your score out of 100 because every subject, 100 questions lang ang sasagutan for 2 hours. Okay? So, sa 2 oras, meron kang 100 questions na sasagutan. So, all you have to do is to multiply the score over 100 to the weight which is 0.20. Bakit 0.20? Kasi yung clinical chemistry is 20%. Okay? And then you add all of the products. So lahat na yon, the total would be your percentage. And you should get a passing score of 75% in order to pass the licensure exam. So, for example, you got 78 over 100 in clinical chemistry times 0.20 lang siya. And so on. And then, i-add lang lahat ng product and that is your general average in the board examination. Take note that you should not get less than 50% in the correct answers in the major subject. So ano ba yung mga major subject natin? Lahat ng may 20% or 0.20, they are considered as your major subject. Okay? So in case that, for example, you got an average of 78%, pero yung score mo sa hematology is 45 lang. Are you considered pass or failed? What is your answer? So you got 78 as your average, but in hematology, you only got 45. So, that is correct. You are failed. Kahit na umabot ka ng 75%, dapat wala kang score na less than 50 on the major subjects. I remember before, during my licensure examination, this one particular subject is very difficult. So, napakahirap talaga ng blood banking and serology nung nag-take ako ng licensure examination. What I did is I reviewed my test paper 3 times or 5 times and counted yung answer na sure ako na 100% ay tama. So sa awa naman ng Diyos, more than 50 naman yung answer na sure ako na tama. Kaya hindi na ako nagwo-worry na baka makakuha ko ng less than 50 in that particular subject. Kaya class kayo, kapag magla-licensure examination na on the major subjects, so see to it that you will not get less than 50 of the correct answers. Baka kasi umabot ka lang ng 75% dahil nahatak ng other subjects yung score. But then again, sa licensure examination natin, walang conditional. Meaning to say, kapag conditional, kung ano lang yung subject na nabagsak mo, yun lang yung iti-take mo for the next licensure examination. It's not like that in our exam. Meaning to say, if you are failed in the first licensure examination because of one major subject, on the next licensure examination, you will take all again. So wala tayong specified na ito lang yung iti-take mo sa susunod na licensure exam. So as far as I know, in accountancy, meron silang ganon, yung conditional. Meaning to say, kung ano lang yung subject na medyo nagkulangan ka ng score, yun yung uulitin mo for the next. But for us, with our licensure examination, it's all or nothing. Pass or failed lang. And if you're going to retake the exam, you're going to take all of the subjects again. Okay? So next, the scope of the examination shall be prepared by the board, pati na yung schedule, and submit the same to the Commissioner of Civil Service. So before, again, Civil Service Commission ang nagko-conduct ng licensure exam, but in our time today, the examination is conducted by the Professional Regulation Commission. Okay? So, Section 18, the reporting of the rating, ito na yung pinakamatagal na pag-aantay na gagawin ninyo sa buhay ninyo, ang maghintay ng result ng licensure examination. Okay? So, before, they are given 120 days after the completion of the examination before they can release the results. So, medyo matagal dati. Pero ngayon, since computerized na yung pag-check ng licensure examination, so mas mabilis nang ma-release ngayon. Okay? So this section is no longer controlling following the modifications introduced by the PRC Modernization Act of 2000. So it stated that the Medical Technology Board, being the professional regulatory board of medical technology, has the authority to score and to rate the examination purpose with the name and the signature of the board concerned appearing thereon, and submit the results in all subjects duly signed by the members of the MedTech Board to the PRC within 10 days from the last day of the examination unless extended by the PRC for justifiable causes. Meaning to say, class, ang pinaka-deadline na binibigay sa PRC ngayon or sa Medical Technology Board to release the results would be 10 days only. Okay? So dapat within 10 days or less than 10 days, makapag-release na tayo ng results na licensure examination. So, based on my experience, nasa 3 days yung pinakamaaga na mag-release sila ng result. So, during our time, we had our licensure examination September 13 and 14. Come September 17, nandun na yung results ng licensure exam. So, you can check that sa PRC website online. Okay? So wala ding oras na pinipili yung PRC. Any time of the day, kahit madaling araw, nagre-release sila ng results. Kaya nga yung mga ibang students natin, gigising na lang sila isang araw, medtech na pala sila or RMT na sila because the PRC released the results ng 2 a.m. or 1 a.m. Okay? So again, based on the PRC Modernization Act of 2000, the Medical Technology Board shall release within 10 days from the conclusion of the examination the results of the licensure examination. So pinapasa na yan ngayon sa PRC since the PRC conducts our licensure examination. So Section 19, the rating and the examination. So before, nagpapadala sila class ng rating doon sa specified address. Nandoon yung mga scores mo sa licensure exam. But now, as far as I know, it is accessible online na. Kasi gagawa ka ng online account mo before the licensure exam. So dati sa time namin, pinadala yung rating namin doon sa specified address. So again, in order for you to pass the licensure exam, kailangan at least 75% average with no rating below 50% in any major subject. And provided that at least 60% ng subject mo are computed according to the relative weight would be passed. And then, failing the board examination for 3 times will require you to undergo a refresher course. So, yung refresher course natin, pwede siyang 12-month postgraduate training sa accredited na laboratory or medical technology school. Pero mas usual ngayon or mas tinatanggap na yung papasok ka ulit sa school for a refresher course for 1 year. And example ng mga schools that are offering refresher course, yung CEU and Trinity University of Asia. So again, the certificate of completion of a refresher course is required kapag ikaw ay magte-take ng licensure examination for the 4th time. And the certificate is valid for 2 years. And if the certificate is valid for 2 years, at most, meron kang 3 to 4 na licensure examination na pwedeng ma-encounter or kuhanin ka. Okay? So after you successfully pass the licensure exam, pwede nang mag-oath taking. So you are required to take the professional oath before the board. So kadalasan yung oath taking ginagawa siya sa PICC. But if you cannot attend the PICC sa mismong office ng PRC, doon ka mag-oath taking. Okay? So issuance of the COR. So one of the conditions for you to have your COR is your age. So the legal age for you to be eligible for the COR is 21 years old. So if you are below 21 years old, mag-aantay ka pa na mag-21 years old ka before you can get the COR. Okay? So kayo class, hindi na kayo mamumroblema dito kasi since meron kayong additional na 2 years sa senior high school is that graduate kayo and magla-licensure examination kayo na more than 21 years old na kayo. But during our time, I have some classmates and schoolmates or my co-interns, they are just 19 years old or 20 years old during the time that they pass the licensure examination. So ang ginawa nila, inantay talaga nila na mag-21 years old sila before they can get the COR and the license. Does it mean na hindi ka pa pwedeng mag-work as a medtech? The answer is no. Okay? So pwede ka pa naman or pwede ka na mag-apply sa laboratory as medtech, but the condition is hindi ka muna pwedeng mag-sign ng mga official results because you do not have your COR and your license pa. So wala ka pa ding license number. Kaya gagawin mo lang yung mga work inside the laboratory pero hindi ka pa pwedeng mag-sign ng official results. Okay? So tatandaan class, magkaiba ang COR sa license. So yung certificate of registration, it is not expiring. So para siyang diploma that will prove that you are a licensed professional. And it bears your picture as well. Okay? Para ma-recognize ka that you are the one, okay, who owns the certificate of registration. And then yung nag-expire every 3 years would be your license. And the expiry of your license is your birthday, kaya hindi mo siya makakalimutan. Okay? So every 3 years, you need the continuing professional development units or the CPD units in order for you to renew your license. So meron tayong separate na topic for that. Okay? Pero again, yung lisensya or yung license nag-expire siya every 3 years. So kung papansin nyo class, ayan yung isa sa mga nauna kong license before. So medyo payat pa ako dyan, saka straight pa yung buhok ko. So nagre-renew kada renew ng license every 3 years. Okay? So before, sino lang yung binibigyan natin ng COR without examination. So if you are a graduate of BSMP or BSH and you are in practice for at least 3 years, so kung nagpa-practice ka na from 1966 to 1969, you are eligible to have the COR without examination. Okay? So you can be given the COR sa mga existing medtechs na. So if you graduated from other paramedical profession and you are also civil service eligible and performing medical technology practice for the last 5 years, pwede ka na ding bigyan ng COR without examination. Okay? For the fees, these are paid in the Civil Service Commission before, but now sa PRC na tayo nagbabayad. 50 pesos for examination and registration, 25 pesos for the COR without examination, 10 pesos for the replacement of the certificate if it is lost, destroyed, or mutilated. So for example, binaha kayo, nabasa yung COR mo, inanay, nasunugan, nawala. So pwede kang mag-request ulit ng replacement for the COR. So there are conditions wherein even if you pass the licensure examination, pwedeng hindi ibigay yung COR mo. So if you are convicted by the court of competent jurisdiction of any guilty of immoral or dishonorable conduct, incurable communicable disease, and unsound mind. So ayan yung mga grounds natin. For example, sa pagbibigay ng COR. So for example, nakapag-take ka ng licensure examination, tapos nakapasa ka or you successfully passed the licensure exam, but before the releasing of the results, nagkaroon ka ng kaso and you are convicted by the court and you are given a verdict of guilty. So meaning, pwedeng hindi ibigay yung COR kahit na pass ka sa licensure exam. So in cases that there are violations under RA 5527, an administrative investigation should be conducted by at least 2 members of the board and 1 legal officer. And ang mangyayari sa COR or license mo would be revocation, reprimand, or suspension. So when you say revocation is that you cannot use your license and your COR and it is being nullified for an indefinite period of time. So permanently, you cannot use the COR and your license because it is revoked. So for example, may violation ka and 3 out of 3 ang verdict sa'yo is you are guilty of that violation. So your COR and your license can be revoked. Okay? Kapag reprimand or suspension for a definite time mo lang, hindi pwedeng magamit yung COR at license. So, pinakamatagal na yung 2 years for the suspension or reprimand. And, for example, 2 out of 3 yung nagsabi na you are guilty of the violation. So, pwedeng ang ibigay sa'yo is suspension na lang or reprimand. So, it really depends on the gravity of the violation that you have committed. So if your license is revoked or suspended, you should surrender it within 30 days after the decision becomes final. Okay? So what are the grounds for filing or instituting an administrative investigation? So if there are violations enumerated under the Section 29 of RA 5527, unprofessional conduct. So for example, um, meron kang workmate inside the laboratory, nagkaroon kayo ng disagreement, tapos sinuntok mo or sinaktan mo, okay? Or merong physical injury na nangyari doon sa workmate mo. So that is an unprofessional conduct. If there is malpractice, for example, nagkamali ka ng type doon sa mga results, lalong-lalo na sa blood bank, nagkamali ka ng blood type na nilagay at nagkaroon ng adverse effect doon sa patient. So if there is incompetency, mali-mali palagi yung ginagawa. Serious ignorance, gross negligence, violation of the code of ethics, and violation of the resolutions, policies, and administrative issuances promulgated by the PRC or the Medical Technology Board, and the fraud related to CPD. So for example, magre-renew ka ng license pero wala kang CPD units. Ang ginawa mo, naghiram ka ng mga certificate at dinoktor mo, gumawa ka ng sariling certificate. But upon checking with PRC, wala kang records ng attendance sa kahit ano activity. So, pwede kang magkaroon ng violations for that. Okay? So, yung appeal, you can appeal to the Civil Service Commissioner. So, ngayon sa PRC na to. And the decision shall become final after 30 days unless mag-appeal ka din sa Office of the President. So in case na nagkaroon ng revocation, pwede pa bang ibalik yung license? The answer is yes. Okay? So Section 26, the board may upon application and for reason deemed proper and sufficient, they can issue the revoked COR. So pwede yon ma-issue yung revoked na COR. So it depends on the discretion of the Board of Medical Technology. And for the suspension, it is automatically lifted kapag na-serve mo na yung binigay sa'yo na suspension and you can request na maibalik sa'yo yung COR mo and the license. So next would be foreign reciprocity. So when you say reciprocity, you can have what you give or give and take siya. Reciprocate. Okay? Meaning to say, no foreigner shall be admitted to examination or given the COR or be entitled with the rights and privileges of this act unless the country or state which he is a subject or citizen permits Filipino medical technologists to practice within its territorial limits on the same as the subject citizen of the said country or state. So if one country will permit our medical technologists to work there just by having the PRC license alone, so in return, the foreigners or the citizens of that country can work in the Philippines as medical technologists as well. But now, at present, wala pa tayong reciprocity class kasi most of the countries kung saan nag-work yung mga medtech, kailangan pa ng additional certifications plus the state licensure exam. Lalong-lalo na if you will be working in United States, particularly in New York, meron silang kanya-kanyang or meron silang separate na licensure examination or state board na kailangan mong i-take para mag-qualify ka to work as a medtech there. So sa Middle East din ganon, there are certifications, for example, yung ASCPI at saka yung HAAD. So those are certifications if you want to work abroad. Okay? But then again, kung magkaroon ng reciprocity, meaning sa ibang bansa, just by having your PRC license, you can work as a medtech. But at present, wala pa tayong reciprocity. Okay? So as mentioned earlier, yung list ng mga mabibigyan ng COR, they would be in the roster of medical technologists. So it shall contain pertinent details such as the name, address, and the citizenship, and the date of registration and the issuance of the COR of all the medtechs in the Philippines. So sa PRC website, if you want to check if your teachers or yung mga instructors niyo sa OLFU are registered medical technologists or kahit sinong professional na may PRC license, if you want to double check if they are really licensed, you can access the PRC website. So, pwede kayong tumingin doon, tingnan niyo yung pangalan, kung talagang lisensyado yung mga individuals na pwede ninyong tingnan. Okay? And then, as mentioned earlier, mga grounds natin for administrative investigation, our penal provisions. So again, if there is illegal practice of medical technology, it can be punished with a fine of 2,000 to 5,000 pesos and an imprisonment of 6 months to 2 years depending on the discretion of the court. Okay? So ano ba yung mga particular violations? You are practicing medical technology in the Philippines without being registered or exempted. You practice without the supervision of the qualified pathologist. So for example, yung laboratory ninyo, puro lang kayo registered medical technologist at wala kayong declared na pathologist. Okay? So kailangan merong declared na pathologist na magka-countersign doon sa mga results that are generated in the lab. So if you are doing fraudulent laboratory reports, especially if you are doing or if you have results but you did not particularly do the test, okay? So madaming ganyan na hindi na sila nagte-test, gumagawa na lang sila ng results, okay? Most common yan sa mga merong annual physical examination. So normal lahat yung mga nilalagay nila at hindi na sila nagte-test ng specimen. So if you refuse or fail to display your COR in your workplace, kaya kung mapapansin ninyo sa reception area or sa extraction area, nakahang sa wall yung mga COR ng mga medtechs doon for them to be recognized. And then presenting or attempting to use as your own the COR of others. If you are submitting fraudulent device of any kind to get your COR, impersonate any registrant of a fake or same name. If you're still using your revoked or suspended license, if you assume, use, or advertise any title or description tending to convey that you are a registered medical technologist. So for example, ginagamit mo yung RMT on your name kahit na hindi ka naman pala registered medical technologist. So who shall violate any provisions and any person or corporate body who shall violate the rules and regulations of the board. Okay, so ayan yung mga examples ng mga violations natin under RA 5527. So for the separability clause, in case one or more of the provisions contained shall be invalid, illegal, or unenforceable, the validity, legality, and enforceability of the remaining provisions shall not in any way be affected or impaired thereby. Meaning to say, class, if there are sections of RA 5527 that are not applicable, it does not invalidate the law as a whole. So meaning, kung meron na tayo mga hindi pinapatupad dyan, hindi niya naapektuhan yung buong RA 5527 and still, it is applicable. Okay? So repealing clause, so all acts, executive orders, rules, and regulations or parts thereof inconsistent with the provision of this act are hereby repealed. So yung mga other versions, for example, ng medical technology law, kung meron man, they are hereby repealed. But nothing with RA 5527 can amend or can repeal the existing laws like Medical Act of 1959, Clinical Laboratory Act of 1966, and the Blood Banking Law of 1956. And lastly, the effectivity, this act shall take effect upon its approval. Okay? Alright. So that is